actually think this is all the Pochettino thing's also probably a good thing for Spurs, and not just because of the usual, you shouldn't go back, this, that, and the other, but I think more because a lot of their identity is linked essentially to his one spell, and a lot of those, characteristics, a lot of the positive characteristics are, broadly still there, but it's time to just actually cement a lot of that and make that as part of your team rather than affiliated to just one man. And and one way of doing that is for him to join one of your more hated rivals. I think.
I think part of the problem as well that would still be there if Pochettino were to go back to Spurs is that he probably wouldn't be given the budget he needed. The same problems they had before appear to just still be there in the environment and still be there in the setup. So I think it would probably. I think this puts a full stop on this for Spurs, and as you say, Vish, is actually a positive thing for them. They need, I think, probably someone like Pochettino. To rebuild a sense of fun and a sense of identity, and like have them playing on the front foot. That's what they're about, like make them fun again. And
will that be enough to keep Kane?
Well, I mean that's a different conversation, isn't it? But I think actually moving on from Harry Kane as well might not be the worst thing. I think get good money for him and rebuild and start reshaping and moving into a new era. But I think for Pochettino,
you're pretending to be their pal.
You should
try one of your best players.
Bulldoze the stadium. I think probably is the best idea, really.
You said it, not me. But I think for Pochettino, actually, in a weird way, the setup here at Chelsea isn't that dissimilar from Spurs, is it? Because there's a lot to be done. You can only really mould it in a new image and move it forward. There's a lot of good players there already. He's really good at getting more out of players than they're given. And when you look at so many of the players that came in, obviously Mykhailo Mudryk is an extreme example of that because of his price tag. But he looks like there's a lot of raw talent there. Noni Madueke has been fantastic the last couple of weeks as well. There's a real talent there. Raheem Sterling's still only 28. He scored twice at the weekend.
They're Pochettino players, but not at Pochettino prices.
Absolutely,
that's the thing, isn't it?
And you wonder if he might be able to get a tune out of Romelu Lukaku. That seems to be the thing they're missing. And he's a Chelsea player. Maybe he'd consider it under Pochettino.
Ooh, would he?
What do you think on that, Andy?
Maybe they won't have a lot of options because I don't think there are a lot of centre forwards out there, and all the players that they're going to try and shift to balance the books are going to be hard to shift. When you're at the real top end, because of the contracts they're on, because of the amount they're getting paid, saying we're going to shift players and actually being able to shift those players are two different things. I don't think there are a lot of takers out there for Lukaku at the moment, despite the fact he's been very good in recent weeks. It looks as if he's been motivated by the horror of the thought of going back to Chelsea. But I think he's got that form a little bit too late, unfortunately, and Inter really don't have the money to keep him. So, I think it could work out by default. I think the thing that concerns me...
Turkey. Come on, Andy. Turkey.
Affordability is not really the issue
no,
here.
It's not a big thing.
It's never the issue. I wonder, the only thing that I think about Pochettino is, in so many ways, he's the right guy for Chelsea at the right time. But they put so much money into Potter and they wanted a project coach. Pochettino is a project coach. What really tells us that he's going to get the time that he needs? And he will need the time because they are not going to get better quickly. They are really not going to get better quickly. It's going to take time. And if you said to me now that Chelsea aren't going to qualify for the Champions League next season, I would not be even slightly surprised for that. And I think it's interesting you brought up Tottenham, obviously, because Pochettino's in play. I think the Tottenham-Chelsea parallel is quite interesting. And going back to Arsenal and where they are, and people have said, oh, well, Arsenal have bottled it and it was their one chance. It's not their one chance because Liverpool have got a massive rebuild on. Tottenham and Chelsea, for my money, don't know what they're doing enough to get better in a hurry. I think Arsenal are going to have another chance to have a proper go next season because of that.
Yeah, I mean, on the Poch thing, like he was offered the job in September, replacing Thomas Tuchel, but he did turn them down. If you get a job, or if you get offered a job that early in a season, but it's the season is already up and running, do you charge more money for that? Do you reckon, Andy? Like, because you would be like, well, this I don't really want. I want the summer to, to have a good run up it and build my squad. But in September, you can't buy players. You can't do this. You can't do that. So you're in a bit of. He'll be on less money now than he would be if he took the job back in September.
If you got a decent agent, but having said that, like Pochettino takes his time over things, and I think that has been one of the things that holds back his career. I mean, it's weird to think. we still kind of think of him as a young, developing coach in a way. But because he was so successful at such a high level at Tottenham and ended up going to PSG afterwards, we think of him as amongst, certainly price-wise, amongst that elite level of managers. And we think of him as a young coach. He's in his 50s. and do we really 100% know what he is as a coach? Okay, we kind of know what he is as a coach, but do we really know what he is as a coach at the top level? Do we know? We think he might be good for Chelsea, but we don't know all the things he's definitely going to do. It's all a bit of a blank canvas, isn't it?
Isn't there a lot of conjecture over the fact that the way he operated at Spurs was, he had such control and he seemed to enjoy what he was doing and how he was making them play.
Yes,
that he would miss that enough to want, basically, I was going to say a stable club. Obviously, Chelsea aren't that stable, but basically try and replicate that somewhere.
Yeah.
And the worst thing he did was go to PSG.
Yeah.
And that took him a bit further away from having that joy, I suppose. And now this is a chance to seize that again.
He kind of took that job because he'd left it too long. I mean, if you're out of the game for a year, people start sitting around talking about, oh, he's a great coach. Why don't we get him on board? He's brilliant. Your myth grows. If you leave it for much earlier, much more than a year, you're in danger of people start saying, what's wrong with him?
Yeah.
Oh, he's not that far off becoming Argentinian Kerbishley.
Cheers for watching another fantastic clip from the Football Ramble podcast. Make sure you click like on this video and subscribe to the channel, which means you will not miss a single upload.